What's up guys, Max here, and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. It's been quite some time since we've discussed anything that I think has been really needing discussion. However, over the past couple of weeks and on multiple matches of playing Mortal Kombat X, during the week of Aaron Black, I ran into an opponent that reminded me of a topic that I think is valuable to talk about, especially during the week of. Fighting games have an inherent problem that if you actually want to get good at them, there's no quick tip, there's no simple strategy that you can do in order to get immediately better at fighting games. People will frequently ask, well, how do I do the combos for this character? How do I space and zone with this character? And there's really no easy answer. It actually is rather complicated to explain what exactly you should be doing to win in any situation. But what it really comes down to is character experience. Now, we have talked about this in detail in previous Real Talk episodes, especially on the Real Talk playlist, but what's more important is kind of the patience associated with it. And the matches you're watching are actually a really good example of this. Because in fighting games, the only way you're ever going to win is if you're somehow prepared to lose. And people are afraid of losing. Losing is actually one of the things you can fear the most. Because if you're willingly going in and knowing that you're not going to win, that's rough, man. People will almost entirely avoid that at all costs. And that's fine sometimes, but on other times, if you actually want to get better, then losing is a requirement. It's absolutely required, and it's just a road to becoming better, to actually getting the win. I'm totally gonna throw an old man thing at you right now, but back in the day, when we went to arcades and you had to put up your money for each individual game, you really had to swallow your pride, especially if it was in regards to a game that you did not know how to play and wanted to get good at. People would beat your ass, not physically, just in a video game for an extended period of time before you can learn how to do anything. There was no training mode, you could not go back home to play the home version of this said title. You had to learn the hard way, and if you were passionate and committed, you could actually get things done, and that was kind of how I learned how to play the majority of my favorite fighting games back in olden times. And by olden times, I mean the early 2000s and around the mid to late 90s. However, in fighting games nowadays, people want that quick fix, and that quick fix really is not readily available. For example, I was going up against this Raiden player by the name of Haywire, and Haywire has probably the best Raiden I had ever fought in an online environment. The best part about it was also conditioned with the fact that the connection was freaking fantastic. This dude was really good, the connection was good, and you were able to jump in and really did not have much to complain about. You'll find me bitching and moaning in online fighting games and getting super freaking salty if I feel like things are outside my control. But a lot of other times, especially in games like Killer Instinct, it's hard to get really upset, especially when the net play or the net code is running very good, and you kind of just made a few bad decisions. I don't really get upset in situations like that. It's very obvious that I made a horrendous couple of choices, and they took the game fair and square. But what's most important in between that time frame is that you are learning something as quick as you possibly can to maybe adjust towards the second fight. What does he do in this situation? What did he do before? Is he going to change up? Has he been doing the same thing? Things like that, to quickly identify and realize that you're going to take a few losses, and then you might actually get a win, or you might actually get another win, and then you lose one. This is kind of how set play works within fighting games, is that you exchange between the tools that you have available with your character, with your opponent, and that exchange happens back and forth, and if you're both at really high, good competitive skill levels, then it can get really interesting, and is probably some of the most entertaining stuff to watch in competitive fighting games. But like I was saying, between these matches, this dude was clearly better than me, and I was learning a new character within this week of, so I had to learn fast. That's kind of the nature with the fighting games that I kind of play nowadays, with the huge variety that we have been playing, is that I need to learn very quick how to play a character I don't know very well, how to adjust to specific matchups with games that have a ton of different characters that you have to learn those matchups for, and do it as fast as possible. And I find it challenging, I find it fun, but I don't really find it frustrating. Of course you want to win, everybody wants to win, but if everything and all the pieces are in place, and you have a good opponent, and the connection online is running fantastic, there's no one else to blame for your losses than yourself. And as long as you don't get extremely hard on yourself, there's no reason to get really hard on yourself. There's nothing insane on the line. I'm playing live in front of like 5,000 to 7,000 people and losing a whole bunch with characters that I'm trying to figure out, and you really just have to swallow it. You have to take it and understand that the next matches that you're going to go forward with, you're going to be equipped with information that you didn't have before. And as long as you apply it, that's what matters the most. And at the end of this gigantic set, we went like maybe 10, 15 games in total. With this Raiden player by the name of Haywire, I learned so much about this matchup and actually got quite a few wins and almost broke even in the very end. And I'm not a big fan of just blowing people out, just rolling through and just decimating your opponent. Sure, it's you don't have to think at all. It's a very low effort type of win, but the stuff that feels the best is when you get down to 25% on each of the character's health bars. You're in the final round, and whatever critical decision is being made is going to be super important to pull a victory off, whether or not it's in your favor or your opponent. And even if your opponent manages to take the victory, you get that, oh god, no type of moment, but right after that, it's like, damn dude, that was a good game. And as long as your opponent isn't a total ass bag and begins teabagging like crazy, I'm pretty sure they're going to agree, and you're going to have a pretty damn awesome experience at the same time. There's not much you can do about those ass bags, guys. It's a big problem with online gaming in general, and it's not just a fighting game thing. As always, dudes, thank you very much for watching another episode of Real Talk. If there's something specific that you'd like me to tackle in a future episode, let me know in the comments below. As always, guys, my name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.